Today, for today's transformation story, I'm with a couple, which is a little bit unusual for this week, but I have Gene and Sarah Simpson, and they are a couple that I've become familiar with, acquainted with through our preschool and church ministry, and it's been for about the last 3 to 4 years that we've gotten to know each other, and they're here to tell a little bit about their transformation story today. So I'll start out with the question of where were you guys when Christ found you? What would you describe your life like?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
I don't know. I guess it was fairly normal as it could be. I know before I used to drink a lot too. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
We partied. I guess you should say we partied a lot. But other than that, I'd say our life was fairly normal.
Okay. And was there a moment or something in your lives that just really sort of changed the course and direction of your life? And what did that look like?
You want to go? Or you want me to?
I guess as in changing the course, I guess when we had our two girls, I guess I wanted, hopefully I'm going in the right direction here. I wanted the girls to have the chance to have their life in church or to know God, because when I was growing up, my mom and dad didn't have anything to do with going to church. And I wanted the girls to have that in their life. And it's been a fantastic thing that they've been going to church and having, a children's church and stuff, because they can recite some things that they learn just out of the blue. They'll say something, we'll be driving down the road and they'll say something they learned in children's church. And to me, for them to have that ability to learn the scripture, whereas I didn't when I was a child. And I wish I would have known more about the Bible now. I'm pushing 50 years old and I don't know much at all. And when I get around like you, Pastor Matt, and stuff, you hear that knowledge of the Bible. And I wish I could have picked that up sooner in life. I guess I don't want to back up. I back up a little bit, back up to just where was I when I found God? I didn't have a ha-ha moment, I guess, but my life before Sarah was not the best life. I didn't lead a good life that God would approve of, I guess. But then when I met Sarah, I wanted to give her my whole heart and put everything into it and be true to God. I guess I didn't say that in a sense of my spiritually, I guess, but I'm in my heart, I wanted to be true to her the rest of my life. And I guess it's kind of a godly thing, I guess, because I wanted to be a good person.
You felt like seeking God would make you a better person.
Absolutely.
Is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. In my head, it's hard to explain. I knew what I needed to do, I guess. I knew what I needed to do in my heart, and it was a godly thing.
Like, I want to back up when you were talking about the girls. That was one thing that we came to church because we really wanted them to learn. And when they could recite scripture, and there's times that Millie, our youngest, will say, "I'm going to pray." Like, and I think that's a testament to starting to follow God. And, she's already seeing that and coming to church at an early age. And I guess it's just neat to see them learn.
Mm-hmm. And so it sounds like really the trajectory that was changed for you a lot was your family direction and just where you as a whole family and where each of you individually would seek after the Lord, as opposed to just kind of sort of living that average life that a lot of people would say they're used to in our culture. And so how have things changed since you have come to Christ and have really embrace that lifestyle?
Well, I've noticed I pray more, and when I pray more, that I see things that will get answered. And it's not, it's not always right away, because we know that it's in God's time. So, but because of that, I noticed myself talking to God a lot more. Like I was telling Jean, we were talking a little bit about this earlier, but when we first started coming to church at Sweetser Wesleyan, I remember I was driving to Wabash to recycle, and we have these 55-gallon drums, and there are two of them. We have two of them, and they're full of plastic. And I remember driving to the recycle center and talking to God and saying, it'd be really cool if somebody could help me. I know this is kind of, you think it's funny,
No,
but
that's
it's
okay.
cool because I can still remember this. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. But anyway, I remember talking to God and saying, hey, it would be really cool if somebody would kind of just show up and help me. And guess what? There was somebody there. And that was, I don't know if that's an aha moment per se. Maybe it is. I don't know if I consider it, but it's one thing that makes me realize he really does listen, and not praying all the time like before. I never noticed that, or never had a chance to see that, I guess.
Yeah.
So I know that praying more anyway has
Absolutely.
changed. Yeah. What else do you think? Anything?
Praying more, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so in that relationship that you've been developing with God, and praying being a major part of it, and seeing some of the difference that it's made, even in your girls' lives, and just some of the pattern of your life, are there any patterns that have changed as a result of coming to Christ as well?
Yeah. Like, we don't party as much like we used to. I mean, that's just
Well, we don't drink.
we don't really drink at all. And
No.
that's just, I think, a decision that we've made because that, I don't know, it's just not important. And, that's just one thing that wasn't done,
Mm-hmm.
I guess, a lot. So why should we? I don't know. But what other patterns have changed?
I don't know.
You don't know? That's
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to see what's changed when we look at it, in a fairly recent picture of ourselves, and sometimes it's more clear once we've been down the road a little ways. But as I think about this, one of the things we're doing with the transformation stories this week is also giving you the opportunity to encourage someone else. And so maybe you're thinking about that person out there who's living the sort of the average life that you were, or maybe is somebody who's living in fear right now, or in some other circumstance because of all that's going on in our world. How would you encourage them? What kind of things would you say to encourage them with?
that's yours.
Well, I would just encourage them to have faith, and to try to have faith in life, and then to I guess try to bring themselves to start going to church, to get that feeling of security with God, and just have faith. Because a lot of people that don't go to church, they don't think of it that way. They don't think of God as being the faithful person to them. Well, they could be faithful to God and live a better life. That's mainly just to be faithful. Have faith.
I think with everything that's going on with the coronavirus and me, I have pretty high anxiety, and I feel like that I am not as scared or worried as I would have been, say, 10 years ago, before that we found Christ. And I think a lot of that has to do with faith, because I have the faith in him that he's gonna solve this, or help help us get through this, I should say, I can look to him more and again go back to pray, and just let's get through this. I know we're going to get through this, and I know he's listening to me because he does answer prayers. I'm just so big on that right now.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that goes along with the faith thing, what Gene was saying.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to come and do this today. And these are encouraging words. Everybody needs to hear stories of transformation, even if they're not ones from just kind of complete and utter darkness or sin like that, but people are just living ordinary lives that just come to a place of faith and how it can really change the direction of their lives. And so I really appreciate that story being brought to this today, and want to thank you both for being a part of it and sharing it with others this week.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.